The Goldfinch is directed by John Crowley, who directed Brooklyn, which I haven't seen, and it tells the story of Theo, who was caught in a terrorist attack in an art museum with his mother when he was a young boy. His mother was killed, and from the rubble he stole a priceless painting of a goldfinch. The film follows Theo as he moves from one family situation to another, while dealing with his loss, his yearning for connection and family, and the constant presence of this secret, the stolen painting. It's based on the book of the same name by Donna Tartt, which I have not read, and holy shit, I was sick of seeing the trailer for this film. It looked good, but it played before every film I went to see for the past 2 months. The trailers got across the premise pretty well, but it also made it a little unclear what this film was. Was it a drama, or was it a light crime story? It had hints of containing philosophical overtones on the nature of life and humanity. That plus the music really reminded me of the trailers for Cloud Atlas when it came out, which is a mark in its favour because I really like Cloud Atlas. But all I heard about it were negative things, so I went in with low-ish expectations, and I thought it was pretty good. It had a lot of problems, but it had enough good things that I did like it. The cast all gave great performances: Nicole Kidman, Jeffrey Wright, Ansel Elgort, and Luke Wilson and Sarah Paulson in small roles. I thought the child actors were terrific. The guy who plays young Theo was understated but very believable. He has a lot to do, and Finn Wolfhard gave a convincing Russian accent. I liked the dynamic between Theo and Wolfhard's characters, and I liked it between Theo and the son of Kidman's character. Kids don't really talk like that in real life, but I could have watched a TV show where these two kids talk bluntly about their lives. It looks great, which isn't surprising as it was shot by Roger Deakins. It's well paced, even though it's quite long at 2.5 hours. It never stays too long in whatever life situation Theo happens to find himself, and I was constantly entertained. The problem is, and I think this is what most people don't like about the film, it does feel like a book that probably shouldn't have been turned into a film. The whole time I was watching it, it had this vibe that there was going to be some kind of big reveal, something unexpected and twisty that would pack a big emotional punch because of the way the story unfolds, shifting back and forth between Theo as an adult and Theo as a child. But that doesn't happen. The story just keeps going, and I had the feeling that what made the book so good, if it is in fact good, I haven't read it, is the internal monologue of the protagonist, his thought process and the reasoning for what he's doing. The most evident element that highlights this fact is the painting of the goldfinch itself and how unimportant it seems to the narrative. It doesn't cause bad luck, no one's hunting it down, we don't ever find out how much it's worth, and it doesn't seem like Theo ever intends to sell it anyway, and it isn't difficult to conceal even when taking it through airport security. The fact that this young kid stole this painting doesn't seem to affect his life in any other way than he's a bit possessive of it, but not in an obsessed, psychotic way. It's nothing that convinces me why this story needed to be adapted for the screen. The painting isn't a big part of the story until the end, and when it does begin to gain focus, it's not satisfying because it's all drug deals and double crosses and guns and Eurotrash criminals. It feels so out of place tonally to everything that the film was up until that point. I'm pretty sure the writers could have taken the painting out and it wouldn't have changed much. It would have been a kid who loses his mother in a terrorist attack and the effect that has on his living situation and his psyche. One review of the book described it as drenched in sensory detail, infused with Theo's churning thoughts and feelings, sparked by nimble dialogue and propelled by escalating cosmic angst and thriller action. Tartt's trenchant, defiant, engrossing and rocketing novel conducts a grand inquiry into the mystery and sorrow of survival, beauty and obsession, and the promise of art. And now that I've read that, I can see what the film was trying to do, but like I said, you can't get across the thoughts and feelings of the protagonist as well in film as you can in print. And if there isn't something exciting happening on screen to make up for it, it's not great. There's a girl who was also in the terrorist attack with Theo who he gets to know, and I had no idea how he felt about her until a scene near the end of the film, and I was like, oh really, I didn't get that at all. I thought you two were just friends. But that might be because I was getting a Tom Ripley vibe from Theo throughout the movie, so I kind of thought that he might be gay. There is drama, but it's never over the top or particularly hard to watch. Everything has a relaxed, almost detached feel to it. Even when there are violent outbursts from characters, I didn't feel it too strongly. And then when I think back and wonder, why did this happen and what was the point of that? Again, a story like this works better in a book form, but the script lacks any real stakes or consequences. Scenes play out and they're fine, good even, but what did it add? What was the point of this journey that Theo's been on? What has he learned and how has he changed? Not much, and not much. An element is introduced where some rich guy puts it together about Theo and the painting and blackmails Theo, and it's a good scene and it's well acted and everything looks great, but that subplot doesn't go anywhere. In fact, why would something that serious even be a subplot? It should be the plot, an obstacle for Theo to overcome, But the guy disappears from the movie and there's no follow-up, no consequences, and no point. There's some talk near the end of the film as people start to find out that Theo stole the painting, about how sometimes good things can come as a result of bad things, that the strange life journey that Theo has been on was all for the greater good. It's a message that felt incredibly flat, and not only because the things that have happened to him are not that strange, and they also try to retroactively lend importance to the painting by having Jeffrey Wright, whose character had never even mentioned paintings before, let alone the titular painting, start talking about the history of the Goldfinch painting and how it's been passed from hand to hand even after the death of the artist. By this point it's too late. I'm not interested in the painting. I didn't even know it was a real painting. I'm going to give the Goldfinch a B-. It's hard to call a movie that's this long while being easily watchable bad. I don't think I'll ever watch it again, but I wouldn't say I'll never. It's not a very good script, but it was saved by the acting and the rich look of everything. I'm glad I saw it, and after Hustlers and The Kitchen and Rambo, this kind of felt like a bit of a breath of fresh air. Thank you very much for watching my review. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. It all helps the channel grow. Comment down below. Let me know if you've seen The Goldfinch, what you thought of it, you liked it, disliked it, agree or disagree with any of my points, or if you have any points of your own. I'll be back soon with more reviews, and I will see you then.